Welcome back to the DJ Sessions, where we feature the best DJs, producers, musicians, and pretty much everyone from the electronic music industry from around the world. I'm your host, Darren, and right now I'm sitting in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington, and coming in halfway across the nation in a little bit warmer spot than I'm in right now. I hope it is warmer down there. From Tampa, St. Pete, we have superstar DJ Keoki in. How's it going today,
Hello.
Keoki?
It is warmer down here. It's very warm. It's nice.
I'm sure it is. You know, we are expanding to Arizona in just a few months. I'm going to be spending a lot of my time down in that part of the nation. So I got to start getting used to that heat. I know it's a little bit more humid down over there, probably in Tampa.
Actually, you know, right now it's like kind of perfect right now. Springtime, it's kind of perfect. It gets a little more in the summertime. It gets really like humid here, but I'm here for the winter. I'm going to go back to New York next week, actually, May 22nd.
And what part of New York do you go back in? What part of New York?
I live in the Bronx. I'm a place in the Bronx. Yeah.
I managed to make it to New York last year for my first time in a number of years. I don't know what I was ever thinking. I should have been there a long time ago.
Some of it. I mean, it's changed a lot since COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement and all that. A lot of it's changed in New York, but the diehard New Yorkers are still here.
I managed to stay at Brooklyn and went to the Brooklyn Mirage.
Yeah, Brooklyn's got skyscrapers now. Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah, I know.
It's like crazy.
But New York native, but you were born and raised in El Salvador, and then I
was 4, and then I moved to Hawaii, and I left Hawaii when I was 16. So I've been in New York since I was 16.
And what
happened? Did that just freeze? What happened?
You did kind of freeze, but you look good. It's a good.
Let me see what's going on. There it goes.
Awesome. It'll kick back in here. I still got audio. We can continue. It's all good.
Okay.
So in New York at 16 years old, you know, I know you probably have told your life story a million times. But what was your first experience with electronic music or I should say DJing? Did you just see it right at the age of 16, or was it something you kind of stumbled upon later in life?
You know, DJ music's always been a part of my life, so it's like always been like there for me. And I became a DJ just because I wanted to be close to somebody that was working in nightclubs. So you know, I was like, what can I do? What can I do to join? You know, to be near you, to do, you know, be part of your. If he was throwing parties at the time, so I kind of became a DJ just because I wanted to be there, part of it. Music was always part of my life. To always when I left home, like left Hawaii to go to New York, I had like records. Which is bizarre. It's like, why would I have records? You know, it's like, it's strange that I would have records, but I did. That's one of the things I left with. I'm gonna try to change the camera here for you so you can have it better. Let's see, is that better? Wait, is that better?
Hey, there we go.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened with my other camera. It just went off. I don't want to deal with it.
Tech stuff, it happens. It's all good. Yeah. We roll with the punches here.
Yes, we do. Cool. Is that good? All right.
Yeah.
Embracing the advent of technology here.
So was it Danceteria where you got your first job? Was somewhere you worked when you were younger, or was that something that happened later on?
Well, Danceteria, I was a busboy there. You know what I'm saying? It was like I was not really DJing there. I was just kind of hanging out in the club. Mm-hmm. So people say, I think my Wikipedia says I started at Danceteria, but I never DJed at Danceteria. But I was a busboy there, basically. So, but that's, you know, that was my introduction into nightlife in New York City.
And what year was that?
That was in 1987.
87. So, okay, I had not gotten into dance clubbing at that point in my life because I was only 13 years old. And, but it wasn't until later, about 5 years later, I started working at a record store. Warehouse Records. I remember those things. They used to exist all over the place.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What was one in Lower Manhattan? Well, I used to go to Frankie Bones's record store, which was Sonic Groove.
Sonic Groove.
That was like the secret weapon.
Yeah.
He got all the records. And then I think Satellite Records came after that.
Yeah, and so working in a music store at an early age put me in touch with, you know, instead of just having the CDs and going and buying the single or the cassette tape. And I was into hip hop music at the time, but I started getting into electronic music. And when I was working at the record store, this is probably 92, 93-ish. I remember there was a very small section, an electronic music section. And I remember seeing a CD, and I will never forget this because you still have your name that's right over your right shoulder.
Oh yeah,
same exact way. And it was this mixed compilation that you had back then, and that was like one of the only things we could find.
Was it the first one? It was probably the first one. I had pink hair, I think.
It could have been. I don't know if there was a picture of you on it.
What year was that? What year was that?
I want to say 92. It was a blue cover. Maybe.
That was it. That was, yeah, that came out a little later than that, but it was all mixed up. Probably I had all the arms
mixed up. Yeah, and I just remember seeing that in the store and then thinking, "Oh wow, there's finally an."
That was like 96, I think, like 96, 97.
That could have been, that could have been when I worked at another music store, record store, when I was 21. So maybe it was 95, 96.
I've been around all the time.
I just remember seeing that, and you've been doing this for a long time, and kind of heralded as one of the first that was out there, and
well, I was the first DJ that was traveling around. I was the first. I got signed to a label in England, well, in America, and then they signed me to an English label that they were distributing. So I became kind of like international at that point. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, and you've seen the entire movement start with the Candy Kid raves, the whole.
Yeah, I was there for all of that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember when it hit here, and I was 18 years old, and we would just dress up to. I mean, it was something we didn't have the internet or social media pushing into this. It kind of just slowly came through the waves, and then all of a sudden this underground.
You had to work for it a little bit back then. Like I feel sometimes like I climbed up this mountain, and then now people are coming up in like ski lifts and shit.
Yeah.
And, it's a lot. It's different. I can't say it's easier because it's probably just as difficult in other ways to become, to be blessed and become like successful at what you love doing, which is what my life is. I mean, I love music so much. I was really like just very blessed to be able to get in the right position, right place at the right time, and take advantage of those opportunities. So it's different now. Yes, it's different. Some of it seems a little easier, but there's all kinds of obstacles, I'm sure, that you have to deal with, now that are different that you have to deal with back then.
Was there ever a time that you felt that electronic music was not going to burst the bubble or become as popular as it is today? Or
no, I've always been so arrogant, man. It's like I've always thought you have to like this music. It's like you have to. I've always been like, I always believe in techno and always believe in music so much that you can't really, you can't. If I ever was doubting it, I don't think I would be able to move forward. I really feel that music can change the world, and it has, and it does. So, and I'm just happy to be a part of that, definitely.
And I'm sure you have been an influence to countless number of DJs and producers and people in the industry over the years. But who's been your biggest influence over the years?
My biggest influence over the years, gosh, it's hard to say. It's more like a collective of what's happening with music. My comrades and people that I've met throughout my career. I started in the beginning. So like a lot of the friends that I have from back then, friends like Sven Bath, for example, who's like I feels like is the pioneer, the man to follow right now. I'm gonna start my glass here. To follow right now. He's like the man. He's been my friend for like over 30 years now. We met. I brought him to America first. And because of that, we still stayed close, and he's an influence. He's a fellow, comrade, within music that I look up to and I can talk to. And I'm fortunate again because I was there. We've been friends for so long. It's like there's other friends like that I have. Paul Van Dyk's another one, very close friend of mine. That we're still friends. So. It's just more blessings everywhere I look.
I believe Paul's playing Seattle this coming weekend.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's still going.
Torn, yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And so after seeing the rise of the industry, start up, and you being right there in the beginning of it, seeing it grow to where it's at clubs and other dance events, do you think people should look at the DJs like they're rock stars? Or would it be more fun if DJs were a little bit more anonymous, like they took a little bit of a backseat and just be part of the big event?
DJ, it used to be like you go to a club and you feel the music, and then you look around for the DJ. You have to look for him, sort of. It wasn't like you went and stood in the front of the stage back in the day. I remember going to hear Junior Vasquez at Sound Factory, and it would be like you couldn't even see him. He was like hidden back, it's like, but you knew he was up there. And what he was doing with the music was such a mystery what to see him doing it. That I think that it's kind of missing nowadays. It's like, you don't get that. People stand in front, they're like, they're trying to check it out, but they're not really getting into it. Their visuals are like not, if they just close their eyes. And I always thought the DJ should be like felt and like be covered up first, and then at the end of the night, show who he is. I think that would kind of maybe have time people open up their minds and their ears and like listen more. I don't know. I think it's kind of it's a crux to just sort of stand up there and just look at people. What are you doing? What's the DJ gonna do? A backflip? I mean, I'd probably kill myself at this point.
Well, I mean, you played at some of the more notable clubs, and where did you see a shift in that being kind of the side and to playing to the room to now more of a stage? Was there a definite shift?
It was gradual, but it happened. It happened. I don't know, maybe like around 2000 when I started doing more festivals and like big, like large events. And it felt great. I remember I opened up for The Cure. I did 4 shows with The Cure, like at a stage. I was to the opposite side, they playing music, and then they went on over there. But there was so many people there. It was like, it felt like a performance, but I didn't really feel like I was connecting with the people. It was like, I was just kind of like trying to be dramatic with the music I was playing. And that's what I had to do in order to please all those people. I had to be like, real, the tracks had to be huge. And, I had to stand up there and be like, that's what it felt like I had to be anyway. It's totally different. It's a totally different thing than being like in an underground club DJing and trying to get people to really like, get into the music. And it's a lot more work, I think, when you're really in there. A lot more talent comes out if you have any. And, that's when you're really having to work for it. And like, people don't have to see anything. They just kind of hear it and feel it. Cause that's what it's about. Music,
Yeah. I mean, I started in some of the small intimate clubs when I was younger. I love the small intimate vibe where you can actually walk up and fist bump the DJ if you want, if they don't get too mad. But I was at EDC last year and for my first time, and even being at something, hey, Camera 2's back.
Yeah, Camera 2's back. Yes.
Yeah. So, even being at something like the Eclipse Festival, it's such a major festival with 35, 40,000 people. But then you go to something like EDC and there's 250,000 people. I hear
that's
there's
just wild to me. It's like,
I hear it's 400,000 people at EDC this week. And, you can't see the pavement no matter where you go. But the artists are this big on stage.
That's a nightmare to me. I mean, unless I'm playing, it's a nightmare.
And I'd love to be able to go connect. Like when we were talking a little bit before the show, my first time being in New York and going to the Brooklyn Mirage. And I felt no matter where I was at, I could still see the DJ, but there's still 5,000 people that could fit in that venue. And that at the castle part of the venue.
Were you like interested in going to see what the DJ looked like? Is that,
it was one of our resident DJs was opening up for Lane 8 and Lay Youth. And so for my birthday, I decided to fly me and a couple of my friends out there to go see her open up and see that show, and then go do the Times Square, all the fun stuff in New York for a weekend trip. And my mind was blown. I came back to Seattle and I was talking with somebody and she says, yeah, I know what you mean. I went to Ibiza when I was 18 years old and it kind of ruined every other nightclub experience for me in the world. So now one of my things is to go out and explore, and I'm planning to put a lot of more stamps in my passport, going to these bigger clubs with these productions that are going on. But
now it's more worldly anyway. Everywhere you go, it's like you go to Berlin, it's like you can't escape it. Techno's everywhere.
Exactly. And that's what I'm looking forward to is going out and exploring the world and getting in touch. We have a big trip to ADE this year as well.
Right.
Looking forward to that. And then we'll come back around to Winter Music Conference and IMS and start doing the circuit. It's just interesting.
Now that everything's opened up, I guess it's exciting. For a while, it seemed kind of gloom.
Yeah. But being a kid that, kind of saw this from an underground perspective also at 18, just to become a worldwide phenomenon. And now it's in electronic music zone, everything you feel, touch, taste.
Yeah. And I've always felt it would be. I always felt it should be and it would be.
Yeah. So. And you're down there. You just did something recently down there in Tampa. Was that a motorcycle meet?
I'm still doing it. It's my motorcycle tour. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just different cities in Florida. Like I said, I stay down here. I told you before in the interview that I stay in Tampa just for the winter. I have a place here. I can't stand the cold in New York, so I have my motorcycle down here, my dog's down here, and I have a roommate down here in a home. And I spent time here. So while I was here, I figured I might as well play some. I sell more records and I got more fans I think in Florida than anywhere else. In the past, it was like that anyway. So nowadays you can't really tell, it's everywhere. But in Florida, I definitely have a lot of old school fans, and it's like a second home for me. Always has been Florida. So I'm here and I'm playing in different cities. I play Fort Lauderdale, Miami. I'm playing Fort Walton this Saturday. I'm Orlando. I'm everywhere on the bike. I take my controller, this controller here. It's called the Prime Go, battery operated. 4 hours. I could go to the beach and play.
Is that the little small one?
I put on my motorcycle. I'm gone. It's like total like rogue.
that's a little Denon Prime, right?
Yes, it is.
Prime
Go.
Is that the wireless one too? You can like walk around the room and yeah. My buddy has that. He's a big Denon head, and
yeah, I love it. Denon's that totally stepped up their game, man. Definitely.
Yeah, it's obviously the big P is what everyone uses. But Denon,
I'm all about Denon right now. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're making amazing gear. Speaking of events and doing things, you will be going back to New York here shortly in the near future, and kind of being part of something being revived called Disco 3000. And can you tell our audience, tell our DJ Sessions viewers a little bit about Disco 3000 and why Disco 3000 is starting up?
Well, Disco 2000 was something some people might remember. We did it from 1991 to 1996 in New York at the Limelight. And sorry about that. And it was 6 years of running, like we did every Wednesday. It was like my home in New York City. And we just kind of we're bringing back sort of the same vibe, the same sort of artistic sort of feel for it. Disco 2000 was about pushing everything forward, fashion, music, just fast forward thinking. It was a way to sort of escape into the future with the music. The music I would play would be like just the newest and most cutting edge techno. And that's kind of the same format we're using for the new one, Disco 3000. That's opening up May 25th at Club Nebula, which is really cool because this club is it's like the top of the line, interactive, real like cutting edge. It's almost like you're dancing inside of an NFT when you're at this club. It's like everything about it is just so high tech. That's what we're doing the party at. And it started the 25th. And what else can I say? I'm really excited about it. The music will be really cutting edge. We're doing this first one the 25th, and then we're doing another one in a month. And then hopefully, if it all goes well, we'll be doing it every week again on Wednesdays in New York.
Will you be doing any live streaming from that, or will it just be a club?
That's just something we haven't discussed yet. If we do, we'll have to have somebody handle all that because it's so like, to multitask and do all that and play. When I put, when you're in a club and you're, performing and doing that, it's kind of, I think you have to have somebody else doing that for you. If they did that, then it would be fine, but it would be less interacting with me. I would just be playing the music. We'd like to get people to come down, obviously, but if you're far away, I suppose. But I mean, we haven't talked about it yet. I can't really say because I haven't discussed it with my partners. But I'm open to it, absolutely.
And you mentioned NFTs. The club is like a big NFT.
Yes.
The way that NFTs are being used, do you have NFTs? Have you launched?
Yeah, I have a couple out, and I have more coming. As I learn more how to do it and what it's about, I've become more involved in it. It's actually pretty cool. It's a cool new art form. You know what I'm saying? It's cool new. It's a cool new way to sort of to get yourself out there and to be like unique and creative. I'm just embracing the advent of technology, man. I'm just, I'm learning as I go along, and fortunately I have a good team of people around me that understand it. I have a lot of, like younger kids that are influencers and stuff on Instagram that I have within my team that have really helped to explain that to me and to explain it to other people and to make it move forward. Because otherwise I would not. I have DJ friends of mine that just close their mind up to it. So they don't even want to think about it. It's like it's too complicated. Or it's too like And if you really want to stay on relevant and on top of things, I think you should just embrace it. And what's so scary about it? There's nothing, what you don't know, you can just learn, So, yeah, I mean, I'm embracing it. Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's awesome. And, I'm hearing the use of NFTs is going beyond. I kind of see a lot of it being the graphics and then NFT graphic, files going out. I see that as kind of like the modern day bumper sticker that has a value to it that can keep, or the stickers that you give out, and those are collectible item stickers, but they have value to those stickers. But
that's a good way to look at it, actually. Definitely.
You know, people using them as a way that, oh, you buy this NFT and this is your ticket to our events moving forward.
Right, and own it. You know, it's like your,
yeah,
it's yours. You know, so yeah. I mean, it's more like it's like bragging rights, I guess, is what it is.
And then you know, obviously the NFT of music. You know, NFT in a music file and owning the music.
Yep.
You know, what that could be done, giving certain rights to songs.
Well, I'm going to be doing that with some of my older albums, like my Ego Trip album, for example. We're going to start doing NFTs with that, with each track having its own NFT, like, you know, packaging. So it'll be like the song Caterpillar, for example. It'll be up for auction as an NFT with whatever artistic direction we move in with it. And then, you know, whoever wants to outbid the other person and win it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so interesting that, you know, you have a lot of DJ over the years, or performers, bands, musicians, artists, and the ability to always merchandise is where kind of a lot of their revenue comes from. It's on merchandise. And now you have this NFT that you can keep collecting on over and over again. So it'd be like, oh, if I sold a DJ session shirt, but I can attach an NFT that goes with it,
right?
You know, then that person has this collectible item that goes with their shirt that comes along with it. And you can
then you can see the worth, you know, then you can start seeing the worth of what people pay for it. And it's also bragging rights, you know, to say, oh, I own it.
Yeah. Like, I think we might even see, you know, something of a new social media network.
By the way.
Hey, Cooper.
Cooper.
Jaja,
where you at? Come say hello. Come here. Jaja Gabor is my other one. Where's she at? Come here, baby girl. Come say hi.
So pets are allowed in the studio, I take it.
Yes, they're allowed everywhere. Come here.
There's Jaja.
This is Jaja Gabor. Come say hello. Come on. She's on the shot.
Beautiful.
Jaja.
So, you know, speaking of NFTs and be able to capitalize on growth, have you looked, and you're definitely on the forefront of thinking forward on that new technology. You're right. Some people kind of are like, oh, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. But the younger generation, they're going to embrace this, I think.
Absolutely. They're making it happen. They're the ones that are inventing stuff. You know, they're the ones that are bringing it about. So, I
mean, we might even see a new social media website that focuses on just NFTs, and all you're allowed to put up are pictures of NFTs because you can prove you own that. Like I tell a lot of people,
why not, right? Yeah.
Twitter just recently made it was like an icon. If you uploaded an NFT as part of your profile pic, it would give you a special little icon saying this is an NFT picture.
Oh, that's
you
cool.
Own it, you know, and having that validity of social media saying, hey, I own an official piece of that artwork, or could social,
right. Exactly. It's like,
could social media say, hey, you're not allowed to upload that picture because you don't have the NFT of it.
Right. You know? Exactly. There you go. Check
so, that's going to be very interesting to see how that all comes out. Now, moving forward into future technology and things like that, have you looked in doing anything in virtual reality?
That's something that's come up a couple times, but we haven't really done anything. I mean, again, that's like learning all that, you know, learning how to, I enjoy putting that thing on, the Oculus. And like, at first I thought it would be like, oh, whatever. I was kind of jaded. I was thinking, okay, whatever, I'll put it on. It took me like a couple of years before I even thought about putting one of those things on my head. And once I did, I realized the potential and what it does. I think it was like, I was watching a show of myself or something with it on. Like I was able to see like the view of like, and it just blew my mind. And I again, opened up my mind to thinking about what is possible with that, but I haven't really done anything yet. And I say yet, because you never know.
We just launched 2 nightclubs in alt space, and a lot of people.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've done those. I've DJed in like some of these alt spaces, in some of these virtual clubs.
Yeah,
like I've done that for a few friends. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And we had just launched our first club. It was called Beta Nightclub, because we haven't even launched version 1 yet of what we're doing, but we have a rollout of a 5 to 15 year strategy on what we're going to be doing with VR. And kind of like look at a lot of people and say, if you're not doing something in VR right now, you're behind the 8 ball. You're behind the game, in the sense of things. I think
you have to be at least aware of it. Absolutely. Yes.
I mean, if if you're already playing sets in there, or you're playing shows in there, you're on the right path. That's
yeah, they do. I have a friend of mine that pumps me into his club in Hawaii. Hey guys, what's going on? Okay, I know that on the interview. Go back up. Michelle, will you get Cooper? He's like knocking things over. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Yeah, like he pumps me into his club in Hawaii. So like I'll be playing like my Twitch set or whatever it is, and then he'll just pump it into his club. There are actually people there at the club that, you know, and we've done a couple where he like promoted it, where someone's like, I'm there, like he built this like little video thing where I'm actually DJing and it looks like I'm at the club. For them anyway, yeah. In my mind, of course, I think I'm DJing all over the world. You know, that's what's fabulous about the internet and doing this broadcasting is like you just can imagine the whole world's listening, even though maybe no one is. But you can imagine yourself doing that. It's kind of exciting.
And going back to doing events, and you've literally played countless large scale events. We all know what happens on stage because we can all watch what's happening on stage. But can you give us some insight to some of the crazier things that happen behind the stage?
Oh my gosh, I'm sure my reputation precedes me with that. There's so much that can happen. I mean, when COVID came around and I stopped traveling, I almost felt like a part of my life was like, I mean, it was really like, it hit me hard because I was traveling so much. I've got like 1,950,000 frequent flyer miles. That's almost 2 million. And I figured it's about 80 times around the world, do all that. And that was my life, you know, up until boom, you know, a couple of years ago when COVID hit. And it was really like, it hit me hard. It was like, you know, this is my life, you know, traveling around, and some people can handle it, some people can't. And I missed it, you know, so it's now that it's coming back, I'm excited for it. I can only say that I'm sure there'll be more fiasco and craziness about it. You just gotta, the most important thing is to keep your head, you know, level, because you can get lost in lots of things in nightclubs, you know, and in that world. I know from experience, you know, you can lose yourself in everything from drugs to people to like, you know, just environments. So it's important to kind of keep your head in check. And for me, like as I've gotten older, I've realized more and more that the music is the only thing that's never let me down. So I just, you know, stick with that and try to, you know, just hold on to that, you know, just definitely hold on to it, not try, but do it, you know, hold on to the music, and everything seems to be going all right for me in that sense. Take it day by day.
And is there something you'd like to say in regards to that, to new and up and coming DJs / producers to watch out for when making their career successful?
Well, just like I said, you know, just remember to always keep focused on the music. And that's because it's very easy to be distracted by so many different things. Like I said, from people to drugs to environments to like, you know, just anything, you know, can distract you and throw you off of what you really are, you know, there for, if you're there for that reason. You know, if you're there luckily enough to be there as a musician or DJ or whatever you're doing nowadays with electronic music, then you're really lucky and you're blessed, because so many people would love to have your position and to be there. And, you know, just remember that and remember your blessings, and you should be good. You know, keep your heart pure and like always open to new ideas. Don't judge people and be your own thing, you know, do your own thing. Mm-hmm. I think that's the best advice I could give to anybody that's up and coming as a DJ or performer, I suppose.
What's the craziest way that somebody has ever tried to pay you for an event? Would you take Bitcoin? Would you take NFTs? What wouldn't you take?
At this point, my management, they're really upset that I accept so many gigs for like crazy things. I do it for friends. I've never done one for an NFT, but I've done one for sex. For drugs, I've done it for just to like get in good with someone. You know, it's definitely like something I've used and thrown around a little bit. But nowadays I have a team of people that I have to keep, you know, happy and on board with me. So I have to like remember to like, you know, keep those people in check and include everyone in my decisions.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Do you get a chance to go out and listen to sets of other DJs? Or
as much as I can. Here in Tampa, I've been fortunate. There's a couple different venues that brings in DJs from around the world. And whenever there's DJs, I mean, a lot of them are my friends, so I'll go here and play with them in town. The newer ones that I'm curious about, I might go see. Now that everything's opened up, and in Florida, it's kind of everything's been kind of opened up for a long time. People here never really even like ever go into the COVID lockdown mode. It didn't seem like they worked for them here. It's another reason why I was down here. But yeah, I mean, now that it's opened up a lot more, it's all over the world, and more DJs are coming here. It's I'm able to see that. I'm going back to New York next week, and I'm sure it'll be the same there. You know, they're just gonna slowly start up again.
And you mentioned you have a team of people that you work with.
Yes.
That's part of the active measures you take to promote yourself, your releases, your career. Do you believe that solid PR is an important asset for DJs to have?
It's important as much as you have something to PR about. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have, you know, much going on, then I don't think that it's that important. You could be kind of your own PR. But if you have, like, I have a lot of things going on right now that I have to keep, you know, focused on. And for me, like, the music is, you know, I'm a DJ. I'm not like, you know, I'm not 9 to 5 kind of guy that can keep everything in check. So having a team of people that can kind of like guide me and help me with the same, we all have the same goal in mind. It's been tremendous, a change around for me in my life, because when I started out, you know, I had no PR. I had barely had a manager who was kind of like, you know, at the time that was not even being honest with me. So I was learning all these things. But, you know, I think the first time I really got into like understanding what's important about PR and like marketing was when I got signed to my record label Moonshine. That they were a machine. They were like a team of people that just boom, 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 like things would go on that it would be like a 1, 2, 3 punch, you know. And then everything I released, anything I did, anything I said was kind of like, you know, put out there like in a format. You know, there was a way to do it. It wasn't just like boom, you know, you just do it. And it absolutely helped me. They branded me that way, and I was able to reach more people and get more gigs and become ultimately more successful because of the label and their team of people that believed in me.
And how important is social media to you?
It's important to me, but I have someone else that helps me with it, because I can't lose myself in it. It's like so difficult. It's like, you know, I can sit there for hours on Instagram and start, you know, liking and visiting and chatting, and, you know, but if I do that, it's kind of, you know, it's counterproductive if I'm, you know, there's other things I could be doing that would be more beneficial and productive for everything I'm doing in my life, which is, you know, the most important thing is to be able to reach more ears and keep doing what I'm doing and just grow and embrace, you know, grow and personally, as well as, like, you know, feel what's happening in the world with music. My life.
I recently found a newfound pseudo addiction to TikTok.
That's one thing I haven't really gotten involved in. My team is like Jason, who does my social media. He's been trying to get me to, like, you know, to open up my mind to TikTok. Let's just try to, like, you know, conquer Instagram first for a while, you know.
Yeah, I was sitting in bed about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and all I have on my TikTok right now, even under the DJ session, is just what I call funny cooking videos. I'm a bit of a foodie, so TikTok gives you this awesome way to, like, as you're making a meal, you make the videos, and then it compiles them all together and puts them to
Everybody's a star.
Puts them out. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yep. And so I like doing that. We'll explore it a little bit more. But I was at 11:30 at night, and I'm sitting there in bed. I'm like, what is TikTok about? And then I'm looking at it. I scroll up. It's like 3:30 in the morning before I realized I'd just been looking at this thing for 4 hours.
Yeah, you don't even realize it. Exactly.
I didn't even realize it, and just laughing and going, "This is crazy. This is great." Yeah. You know, so you know, and TikTok
I just surpassed. You know, I'll go and watch the reels or whatever. I'll find myself there for an hour doing that. Gonna kick myself to enough of that.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's very easy, and everybody looks great on the internet. You know,
they got a great filter system.
Yeah,
make me look like I'm 21 again.
No one looks bad on the internet, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we're talking about a little bit about spending time on social media, but do you produce as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And producing tracks is synonymous with spending countless hours behind the computer making your beats. What do you do in your free time to stay fit?
That is my free time. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, when I'm making music, I always feel completely blessed. You know, so I feel lucky to have the time to do it. So I do as much as I can, as much as possible. Making tracks and DJing together to stay relevant. It's what's really another thing that's been very important to me. To be able to, like, go and play anywhere in the world with and have the most current, you know, sound and be in tune with what's happening, you know, be more than relevant. And that's one thing that I think is very important if you're going to be a DJ nowadays, especially with the broadcasting, you know, and all that. You want to be able to connect to as many people as you can, and that means staying relevant on top of your music. You know, constantly looking for music, and that's the hardest part, is to find good music when that's unique to you. You can you know, probably and interpret for the, you know, and, you know, put out as a DJ. And if you're making your own music is just a better way to connect. You know, you're making your own beats because of what you learned, and that comes with time. I mean, when I first started DJing, I had no idea how to produce, but I learned, you know, because I wanted to.
How much of a perfectionist are you?
I'm not a perfectionist at all. I mean, I let things go and come to fruition or not. I mean, it doesn't sometimes it's a little upsetting when things don't happen, but I don't really push too much for things that don't seem to be working out. I'll just let things gradually be like a blessing and land where they're supposed to land. So I'm not really that much of a perfectionist. I mean, I do find myself like everything I've ever released, I feel like it's not finished, but that's just the way that things work out, and people enjoy it and love it. So it proves to me all the time that you never know. It's like if you do something someone loves, you can't really go back and say, well, that wasn't finished if they're loving it, and I have a lot of fans that love everything I've done, and I'm really like very blessed and happy for that.
Have you ever experimented with mixing audio and video at the same time?
I have, but I was not able to do it. It's like, I call them mutant DJs, the DJs that can do that. Cause it's like, it's a matter of putting yourself completely. I mean, you have to put yourself completely in another place, to be able to do that, to be able to show a visual and the music at the same time. It just takes so much. You have to have like at least, 4 arms, I would think, to do it correctly.
Or Jedi mind trick skill.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like even the mashup DJs that use the tractor mixer was like 6 tracks going, and they're, I watch them and it's just like they're punching them in and out. Everything's quantized the same BPM, and it's up to them to put it in the right key, I suppose. But DJs that can do that correctly it's amazing to watch, but I can't do that. No. It's like, how do I do that? No, I don't think I could.
Do you think there's ever a certain age which you would stop DJing?
No. I think about that a lot. I don't think so. Just like, look at the Rolling Stones, man. Those guys are still going.
It's funny you mentioned the Rolling Stones, because usually one of my questions is, you two and the Rolling Stones have been doing shows for years with like no sign of stopping. And the original, is there a retirement age for DJs? Is there a time
when you can't move and can't get there or can't hear?
I mean, yeah, I guess that would be it. But
when you can't hear anymore, you can't. I guess hearing would be the word. I mean, I'll keep doing it forever.
I mean, I think Carl Cox was born in 1962 and he's still rocking.
I was born in 1966.
Yeah. So
Carl Cox is definitely rock. He's got a big old smile on his face.
Yeah, definitely.
He's happier than ever. I mean, he's like blowing up more than ever. So what? He's blowing up way more than when he started. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's how I feel about my life. It's like gotten better and better and better. So why stop?
So a couple last questions here. If we go down to Tampa,
yes,
it's a 2-parter. We go down to Tampa. What's the best thing we should visit when we get down to Tampa, St. Pete?
Check out Ybor City.
Ybor City?
It's the oldest part of Tampa. It's a really interesting city to look at, architecture wise, and the people, and there are a lot of cool after hour clubs there.
Okay.
And then if you can, check out Clearwater. Like, take a drive out to. That's why I took my motorcycle out. And it's just an absolutely gorgeous view. People think about Miami when they think of Florida, but you think it's to me, it's a lot more beautiful up here. The water's just so clear and blue, and like the weather is just perfect. Just the breeze coming in on your face. It's beautiful up here. Check out that. Check out Clearwater. Take a drive out to Clearwater if you come to
Clearwater.
Yes.
Now, if we're going to New York, what's the best thing we should visit in the city?
Disco 3000. If you can. Please come check it out. Like I said, we're starting the 25th of May. It'll be our first one. And then a month later, we're doing another one. And then there'll be every week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes well.
Yeah.
And New York embraces it. I have a really good feeling that it's going to happen.
I definitely want to come out and be out there for that. That sounds like
a great time. Coming.
And again, experiencing, what was the name of the club again? It's at?
It's the club that it's at. It's called Nebula. It's on 41st.
Nebula.
Yeah. And it's like dancing, like I said, like dancing inside of an NFT. It's like, it's just incredible that the technology, the club actually has walls that come in closer to you, so it can make the room smaller or bigger and make you feel like you're in a smaller club or like underground, or like just the walls move actually. So
wait a second. So let's say, do they do this on purpose? Like, oh, it's a 200 person night, they can make it smaller, and it's a 1,000.
Yeah, exactly. They can do that. Like if it's less people, they'll make it smaller. They can make it like the ceiling comes down, the walls come in.
I've always thought of a club that would be a cool design for a club to have kind of like a modular wall design that you could kind of shift things around and then like every month you could shift it around and be a different floor plan. Like maybe the stage is over here this time, and
There was a club like that already. There was a club like that. It was called Area. That was the first club I ever DJed at.
Wow.
Like, it wasn't Danceteria, but it was called Area, and it was at 157 Hudson. And every 6 weeks, they would change the entire. They would knock down walls. The only things that were in the same place were the bathrooms, because that's where the plumbing was. But they would change walls and change the whole interior of the club. And the club was called Area, and they would do different themes. And that was the first club I ever DJed. This was like 1991, I believe. They had some. It's some like along the lines of what you're talking about. You know, having a club that does that. Nowadays, I mean, I guess the closest thing would be what Nebula does with these walls that move in, and the whole club transforms with the LED lighting and they actually have a team of people doing the lights that they pay like $2,000 a night just to deal with like, controls that control all the lights that are in there. You have to have a license. It's like really just beyond, as far as technology goes.
Mm-hmm. And, and success doesn't always last forever for everyone, especially for an artist. What do you do to save up for the future? What do you invest your earnings in?
What I invest my earnings in, I buy a lot of motorcycles. It's for me, it's just about being able to keep doing what I want to do. So I invest in my future in that sense. I want to always be able to be like you, have this very blessed lifestyle and be able to make music and travel around and stay in tune with things and try to help out as much as I can as well. Giving back, that's another blessing that's come in my life. That I realize that, if you're able to if you're successful and you're able to smile and say, look what I've done and what I'm doing for myself, and able to give it back a little bit, it's just beyond. The feeling is just beyond, being able to give a little bit back to like causes that I care about, or projects that I'm really passionate about. So keeping all that together is what's my motivation in my head. So just to keep that lifestyle, you gotta always remember save a little penny here and there, or to be able to keep doing it. Be thankful for everything. That's what's most important.
Yeah, that was one of the founding principles or founding kind of rules or guidelines of the DJ sessions, was to always make sure that we're helping to leave a lasting legacy.
Yes.
Helping out the starting out people that don't know what they're doing, that are just beginning, giving them a platform. I mean, it's great.
So important. It's so important.
It's great to have, veterans like yourself on the show, but you got to remember who's starting out, where are they starting from, who's tomorrow's inspiration, and what are they coming up and doing, and giving them a helping hand up. So
always, yes.
Very inspirational words there that you said about helping people out. It's kind of a
core fundamental. And it's not just because I'm just not just saying it because that's something you say or something you do. It's just, it does make a difference. It makes everything that I do all the more worth it. I feel like I'm blessed more if I'm able to share it and with an open heart, give to people as much as I can and lead as much as I can and always aware that I'm learning as well. I'm not closed-minded and jaded, think I know everything, because I don't know. Once you think that, you realize you don't know anything.
You're out. Yep. Well, Keoki, thank you so much for coming on the DJ sessions today.
My pleasure.
Is there anything else you want to let our DJ sessions fans know about before we let you get going back in the studio there?
Well, just please, if you're in New York City, come check out Disco 3000 at Nebula, and check out my Twitch channel. I'm always on there at twitch.tv/Keoki. And just stay tuned and look out for my motorcycle tour if it comes near your city.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. And like I said, I will try my best to get out to New York and come see you.
Please let me know if you're coming, man. Thank you so much.
3,000. Absolutely. Where can people find out? And you already dropped some links. Is it the Twitch channel?
Twitch channel.
You have a website, Instagram, any of that?
My Instagram is Keoki. And also SUPERSTAR DJ KEOKI. Actually, you probably go to SUPERSTAR DJ KEOKI is the main one, and then you can through there find me. My other one, it's a private account, so you have to send me a message or whatever. But awesome. That's my Instagram. Again, I don't know. I use Facebook a little bit, but Facebook I have a love-hate relationship with them a little bit.
Yeah, I think, and you'll see TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's kind of order of things now. Unfortunately,
I agree. That's TikTok I still have yet to embrace, but I can't say never.
It's all the power. It's all the power of the hashtags.
Yes, it is. It really is. I thought that was like the most pointless thing ever, but it really is the power of hashtags.
Yeah.
It's wild to me. I always thought hashtags were like ridiculous. Like, who the hell's going to do that? But then you realize that they do work.
Yeah, absolutely they do. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you so much again for coming on the DJ sessions. It's a pleasure
It's my
having you.
pleasure.
We'll follow up with you here in a few and find out how everything is going.
Cool, man. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. On that note, don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, The DJ Sessions, or go to thedjsessions.com. This is Darren. That was superstar DJ Keoki coming in from Tampa, St. Pete for the DJ Sessions. And remember, on the DJ Sessions, the music never stops.